Hi, I'm Radiance. Join me on a journey to bring you enticing recipes where every video is a celebration of deliciousness, creativity, simplicity, and foodie inspiration. Today we're going to be making a dish inspired by my home, and I mean my home country, Jamaica. We're going to be making Jamaican steamed cabbage. Now, I grew up on this. I used to eat this all the time. And now I do make it every once in a while, but it's something that brings back fond memories of home and family and together time. And it's usually paired with, something nice, something meaty, something curry, something jerk, sometimes even a nice fish or a brown stew. So, and even sometimes some other veggies, But I'm just making this because I feel like having some cabbage right now. Some warm cabbage. So this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need cabbage, of course. Usually you can start with half a head of cabbage, but because cabbage swells so much, I usually double the portion. So I do a whole head, and sometimes I put 2 heads, which I'm gonna do today because I know it cooks down a lot. So you can adjust this, but you can start with a half a head if you just want to make a little bit, but I'm making 2. Carrots. Usually I would say use about 2 carrots, let's say per half a head or head. I'm not a big fan of carrots, honestly, but I like to put some in there for color and, because it's traditional. Some Roma tomatoes, some scallions. You can do fresh garlic, but I have minced garlic, that's also fine. Some butter. I'm using non-dairy butter, that's just my preference, but you can use regular butter, and some thyme. This is fresh thyme. Dried thyme is also fine if you don't have it, it's fresh. A little bit of oil, water, a little bit of salt, and usually black pepper is used, but I like cayenne. So I like to change it up a little bit and make it a little spicy. So what we're gonna do first and foremost is cut up the cabbage. We're gonna cut up the cabbage. So let's move this out of the way. This has been washed off. You can, if you feel like it, you can actually take off the outer end of it. Sometimes it helps. You wanna wash it off and then you wanna wash it again, which I'm gonna do in a moment, but I'm going to take this off and I'm going to show you how I peel this. I'm going to put this to the side. So you get yourself a sharp knife. Just be very careful not to cut yourself. Sure. Away from the end. You cut off the end as such. Put it to the side. And you're going to stand it up like so. And sometimes cabbage will have like a hard part in the center, almost like a hard vein, but this doesn't have that, so I can just go ahead and chop it. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm just going to slice it as such. See, just like that. This doesn't have to be ultra thin. And I'm going to look over here. And there is a little bit of that right here in the center, this little hard, I call it the vein I was talking about. So what you can do is cut this in half, and then you want to cut this diagonal in the bottom to get that harder part. All right, same thing on this side. And then you chop it as such. One of the things I'm going to do, or I like to do, is I'm going to start preparing to put everything in the pan. This is really like a 1-pot dish. You can put everything into a pan, let it steam, and then that's it. So I'm actually going to turn this on. Let that heat up. I'm going to put some water in there. I just usually put a little bit in. I don't want to measure this, but I eye it, maybe a little bit covering the pan because I am adding more cabbage. Sometimes you can start with a couple tablespoons, but I know I'm adding more cabbage in, so I'm just coating the bottom a little bit. Same thing with the oil. You don't need a lot. That may have been 2 tablespoons, maybe 3. You don't need a lot once again. And I'm doing that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the side. I'm actually going to take the cabbage, put it in my little strainer. Gather it up. I'm actually going to rinse this off. That's good to go. And I'm actually going to, that's kind of boiling up, as you can see. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Let that go. I'm actually going to chop this other head up. I'll do that real quick. Cut off the bottom, but it's a little soft and wilty. So I'm going to remove it. Don't see anything on the inside, so I'm going to chop this down the middle again and go ahead and chop it up. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super fine, but however you want to cut it, however thick or thin you want to cut it, that's fine. I'm going to cut this down the middle. Just like that. It doesn't take long. Now, if you want, you can also cut this ahead of time. There have been times when I've been meal prepping this or making this, you know, for family and making a big amount. So sometimes to save myself time, I'll get a couple of heads of cabbage or whatever I'm using and I'll prep it. You just chop it up and you put it into a Ziploc bag. That's it, quick and easy. And it will stay in your fridge, I would say, for at least a day or 2. I wouldn't do it too long, but you can also prep it and have it cut up the day before you're gonna use it. So I'm gonna toss that in my pot. And I'm going to actually put this in the strainer. And what I'm going to do is I like to layer my ingredients. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to wash this off. I'm going to put this to the side here. I'm going to take my carrots. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off the tops and the ends. And I'm going to peel them. Now, if you don't feel like peeling raw carrots, some things I like to do sometimes to also save time. Well, 2 things you can do. One, you can get the baby carrots, which are already peeled, but they are smaller, and just grate those. Or you can buy already shredded carrots in a bag. All those you'll find in your store. I'm just going to use the fresh raw carrots. Alright, see, I'm peeling it. That's nice and quick. I mean, just as quick as opening up the bag, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this into 4. And I'm going to grate it in there. Right? Take it. And you just grate it in. That way you don't have to chop it. Just watch your fingers. To the end, now a little stuff left over, and keep grating. A little stuff right there. It's a small piece. I'm actually going to stop there, just for now. Alright, now, scallions. I'm just going to use, this is about 6 pieces, but you can adjust it to your liking. This is a whole bunch that I bought, so I'm going to use a bunch. Let's clean this up. Right. And for the scallions, you take them and you trim the end of the whites. I like to sometimes trim the top. of the green. And then I'll do this. I'll pull it down and peel it to see if there's anything. If there's like some thing to peel off, you just take it off. You run your fingernails against it and it'll come off. And you do that for every piece. All right. I'll do the same thing for these. And you can actually take a knife and do this, but being that my fingernails are right here and I can grasp it. And sometimes, just be careful, sometimes you can just take your knife and run it down and it helps you. There you go, see? To peel that off. All this together like that. I'm actually going to chop it up, but I'm just going to do little circles. Just like that. My favorite part is the green onion. Ooh, that's making my eyes burn just a little bit. I love the taste and flavor of onion, but I don't know what's like cutting them. And yes, scallions or green onions are in the onion family. The thing about this dish is that it is a bit of prep work, but like I said, it comes together so quickly once you get everything done and chopped up. All right, put this to the side. I'm gonna take this and toss it in there. Toss it in there. Toss it. Take your Roma tomatoes. I'm just going to use 2. And you just kind of finely chop this up. There we go. Just cut down. Cut up a little top right here. And then cut it in half again. 3s. I'm actually going to put this in here now. Remember I said I like to layer my cabbage, even though I'm going to mix it together. Let me tell you that. So, I'm going to put a little bit of butter. This is probably about 2 tablespoons of butter, I believe, but just gonna put in a little bit of butter. I'm actually gonna cut it up a little bit, spread it out. There we go. And I'm gonna layer this additional cabbage in here. Now, if it doesn't fit, that's fine. You can also put the rest of it in there as it cooks down, but this surprisingly is going to fit mostly. I'm going to cut up my other tomato. And when it comes to a bunch of seasonings, I don't add a lot to this. I just like to add some salt, like I said, a little cayenne. You could always, the one thing I sometimes like to do if I really want to get something onion forward, I want to bring out certain flavors, I'll put in onion powder. You can also put in garlic powder, but like I said, I don't put too much into this. The mixture of just simple seasonings I put in there, along with that oil and butter, and a little bit of garlic, gives it such a really good taste. So, I'm almost done with this. And then of course the thyme, so I always say that onion is one of my favorite things to put in dishes for flavor. And then when it comes to herbs, thyme is one of my favorite. Love thyme. All right, there we go. All right, so, but I'm actually going to turn this on again. I'm going to turn this up. Alright. I'm going to lay some sprigs of thyme. And once this cooks, you'll actually be able to take out this, you want to take off the sprigs, but you'll see that the actual thyme leaves will come off into your cabbage. Alright, I'm going to layer some more butter in there. Just cut it up a little bit. Pop some butter all over that. Doesn't butter make everything better? Well, sometimes, I'll say that. There you go. Alright. I'm going to shave a bit more carrot on there. It's flying everywhere. There we go. And last but not least, my garlic. I'm just gonna guess. This is like, I don't usually measure this, but I have a measuring spoon. So this is roughly like 4, I think I just put in 5 tablespoons, and then some of this juice that's in here. It's my place. Wash my hands real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then add a little bit of cayenne on top, just a sprinkle. And yes, a sprinkle of salt. You can use a spoon if you prefer. I'm going to use my hands. Just sprinkle that over. Let's see if they can. I'm just doing like a liberal amount of stuff. I'll adjust as it cooks down once it's cooked. So what you, and I'm going to add a little bit more water. You want to steam, you don't want it to soak. You just want it to steam. So I'm going to cover that up. And you're going to let that cook for about 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes. And then you're going to check on it. You're going to stir. And then what you're going to do is you're going to then cover it again and let it steam for an additional 5 minutes. That's how you're going to do it. But I'll be back 10 minutes. So it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to check on this. Now, in between, you can give it a peek. You can stir it. Sometimes I just like to let it sit, let it do its thing, and then check on it. Now, because I had so much, I'm actually going to stir it up because I haven't touched it. I wanted it to cook down a bit. See that steam? I'm going to hold on to this because this is kind of hot. You can use a spoon, but one of my favorite things to cook with are tongs. It allows me to grab and move things around. And the thing about this cabbage is, the longer you cook it, the softer it'll be. If you want a little bit of crunch, cook it less time, maybe 6 to 8 minutes. I like mine a little in between, but as you reheat this, if you have anything left over after, it's going to continue to get soft. So I don't mind it being a little bit on the softer side. I'm going to give it a taste so I can adjust whatever I need right now. I'm actually going to toss some in here so I don't burn myself. Let it cool off. I like to use whatever I have in the kitchen at the moment, whatever's at hand. Sometimes I don't always have a plate, so here we go. The texture is actually perfect. I'm just going to put a little bit more salt. And then I'm actually done. You don't have to let it cook anymore. I'm not going to let it cook anymore, but you can. Put in a bit more salt. I don't need to add any more spice to it because it's perfect. A bit more salt. I'm going to toss this around some more. Still steaming. Actually, going to turn this down a bit. If you want, you can actually turn it off. Cover it. Let it sit. And it'll continue to meld the flavors together. That's it. That's all you need. So that is my Jamaican cabbage. Actually, let me be fair. Let me show you what this is looking like. Let's give you a little peek. Let's give you a peek into that. Look at that. See how juicy that is? There you go. Well, that's what I'll be having tonight. So thank you for joining me. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. If you made this, comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you added anything outside of baby cayenne, maybe some black pepper instead. And if you have any suggestions of other sides that you prefer that you want me to make. And also subscribe to my channel and click the link below and join my free VIP group and come over and join us for all the fun that we have over there. So thank you again for joining me, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you next time.